possibly the same company that just did it come back in and remediate mold again, because although it's been removed from the basement, it's going to continue to grow as long as that HVAC system is not replaced, even though the kitchen's not down there right now.
And the other factor that you're not looking at is getting the food from point A to point B. So trying anything outside that building now, if it's not direct connect, you're going to have a hard issue with keeping food warm and so forth, especially in the non-summer months, but also the logistics of moving inmates and food back and forth from alternative locations.
I get that. I'm just wondering, I don't know that the commissioners have signed off on this.
They have not.
And I just want to say that for the record.
They've not, but this is something that in the policy and governance group, there is a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to move forward once this bid came in. This has been on the watch list, so, I mean, if they want to do it, it doesn't matter if there's not funding available.
I understand.
You're going to have to restore the space even if you're not going to use it for a kitchen. Whatever you're going to use it for, it's got to have heat and air.
Gotcha. But the heat and air for the kitchen, Mr. Trumbo, my understanding is the return on that is once per minute. You move the air at least one time per minute. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you're going to
For a kitchen.
If you're going to use it for storage, you might be able to use a little smaller system. But it's not going to be that big a savings. I recommend you move on with this and get it over with, because there's no guarantee your kitchen's ever going to be anywhere else.
Okay. Thank you.
I think it's going to be no surprise my comments. It's just, if this can go to PBA. I know I bring that up almost every time with capital items. We are starting the fiscal year out much less in our reserve. 2.6, I think at this time last year, it was $4 million. We have questions on employees' benefits, although we're all hoping that the changes we've made July 1 will help. And then just all the other needs that I know are out there. That's just where we stand on it in our office. You know, there's yet to see anything. You know, we got budgets on PBA, but not necessarily for reserve. And there is considerable cash sitting there in reserve. So, and I know there's other questions there. It'd just be nice to see a plan out of PBA on what to do with that money. That's my only thing that's here.
I know there's been things discussed in those meetings that in executive session.
Right.
With what's there, because there are issues. There's the phone system.
That hasn't been brought to PBA. No one's brought that to a PBA agenda. The building that they may buy, it could be financed. There's a lot of talk on finance.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought one of the recommendations of BET on the $900,000 for the new phone system was to fund that.
It was, but it hasn't made it to PBA.
Right. So, I understand where you're coming from. I do, but I think there's a lot of commitments that PBA had.
I just haven't seen them, I guess.
Some needs in the jail that the PBA.
I'm not questioning the needs at all. I'm questioning the source of funds.
Yeah, and I would agree with Christy. We budgeted $2.5 million in reserve next fiscal year as it stands right now. We don't know what the supplement's going to be. We didn't fully fund employee benefits based on what it was this year, so tapping into the $2.5 million right off the bat puts us in a deep hole. TBA, we've got $6.7 million in cash right now. We project out through this month, probably end the year with about $7 million in TBA funds. I think we can look at it as a source of funding.
You guys are Monday are coming after us in the general fund reserve as well, which would lower it.
One other piece of information is it'll take 4 to 5 months to install this. So your jail kitchen's going to be temporary, and your temporary costs are gonna amount for that much more time, somebody's gonna have to pay for. So if you approve this today, we're looking at fall before we can ever get it built. So delay is not a good idea.
PBA meets when, Monday? Do they meet Monday or Wednesday? I know with the holidays, the first Monday of the month.
Yeah, I think it's too late.
It's on Thursday to possibly Monday for approval.
I think that agenda's already out. Maybe a draft.
I'm sure it's posted maybe, but
And Cody, you said policy and governance is gonna make or is it infrastructure?
Probably infrastructure.
Yeah.
Is gonna make a recommendation to
Or was it infrastructure?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, infrastructure, right?
to the commissioners to fix it. I wonder if they should also try to get something on the agenda for PBA.
They can't,
They can't.
they don't have anything to do with it.
I guess.
The OCC group.
Right. Maybe the BOCC can make a recommendation to themselves for PBA. Yeah.
Any other discussion? Okay. Is there a motion? Does somebody have a motion? All right, I'll make the motion to recommend budget board transfer $716,500 from general fund reserve to the capital improvement regular fund for the jail HVAC replacement project. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second on the floor. We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Larry?
No.
Christie?
no.
Yes. Danny?
I'm gonna vote no, just for looking for a different source of funding.
Right, right.
Rick?
Yes.
Scooter?
I'm a no for the same reason Danny is.
Amy?
I think we're a yes. We are supporting the jail, but I'm also, if there is other funding, we would do for that as well, but therefore, I'm a yes.
You're a yes. I'm a yes. 4-4-4-4. Okay. Does anybody else have anything else on the item?
I just think before a final decision is made, I think all the funding options need to be looked at, even if it's a hybrid of maybe a mixture of PBA and the reserve, but not all from one or the other.
Okay, well, the motion that I made did not pass. I mean, it was a 4-4 vote. There's questions about PBA, and we've got Keith Monroe just came in here. Keith, can you address the PBA situation? I know we've got a lot of projects that are out there on the horizon. Is there anything that you have handy
Anything I have handy.
that you can discuss?
In regards to your budget, right?
Projects, they're more than what, they total more than what the PBA has in reserve if you were to look at them collectively. Anytime there's a project that comes up or a potential need, that need changes and the prioritization changes and can change quickly, weekly or monthly, depending on how things deteriorate or at what level of need they happen to occupy at the time. So, assuming you're talking about the jail kitchen thing here, that's an area of critical need. We've got piping issues. I don't have the list in front of me, but there's a list that was presented that identified lots of needs throughout the county. So
many of which are on PDA buildings, is that correct?
Correct, yeah. We met just yesterday with the operations equipment people to address the operating system for a parking garage. That's a big number. That item is gonna have to be addressed quickly. The equipment's at end of life, we've been saying that for a couple of years, but it's at end of life, and we're gonna have to do something there that directly affects our operations and cash flow, so.
How much you estimate the roof at Lincoln to replace it?
That's another one. The roof at Lincoln, when we looked at that through OMES, was nearly $1 million. We've got HVAC systems out there that we're gonna have to replace. We have, solid, good tenants out there now. ACOG is gonna need to be dropped. The election board's gonna have to, be able to function, and so HVAC concerns, roofing concerns, those are all expensive propositions.
And, isn't there a storage facility for court clerk?
Yes, that's another one
VA.
that's on the list as well. We're currently renting space down on Southwest 4th, 35,000 square feet. The need for permanent storage and expanded storage is there. Those are numbers that are being looked at.
Kraus is a PBA building, correct?
Yes.
And is it fully remodeled so we can rent out that whole space, or is it just partially?
In the event we utilize the second floor, if we need to utilize that second floor in a hurry, we'd have to add an elevator and update the square footage on the second floor. So that would for a time use capital, require capital.
Okay.
I'd like to put a motion on the table, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman. Make a motion that we would fund half the project for the jail HVAC system from the reserve, contingent upon a 50-50 share with PBA. Let's identify that we understand that PBA does have some items. We're trying to split the cost both ways.
I have one question for Keith then. Is this, the jail HVAC, the project we're talking about now, has that been prioritized with all of the projects you're discussing? And where does it fall in that?
That has not been prioritized in that list. I know to reestablish use of the kitchen, this is going to be required in order to keep any kind of mold from recurring. So this is primary need in the event you restore use of that kitchen.
Refresh my memory, has the PBA funded any portion of this HVAC already, clean up, that kind of stuff? Where does it come from? Other repairs in the jail?
No.
We did some mold remediation, I thought, out of reserve last year, or the year we're about to.
That may be right. I don't recall.
And then, say, how much longer do we have on this bid? Bid is good for 30-some more days. And what's the balance in the PBA reserve? No one knows?
4 point.
Or not in the PBA reserve, I'm sorry, in the general fund reserve?
2.5.
2.5. And we started with 4 million last year. 4 million some.
And the reluctance to fund this is, I got late, and I wasn't watching you guys, so.
The balance of the current general fund reserve and no potential exposure in the next fiscal year with employee benefits and other things. Is that a good summation?
I think there's a recognition, from what I'm hearing, that there's the need, it's just where the funding source comes from. And the problem that we get into is is it gonna come from here, is it gonna come from there? And the more, we prolong that discussion, it pushes this further and further and further down the road. I think what Mr. Scuta's recommendation is, well, his motion would be to kind of split the baby a little bit and have a commitment from the general fund, and then try to seek the commitment from PBA for the remaining portion, to kind of get both parties involved in the process.
Good interpretation, Danny. Mr. Chairman, and I don't know, that's why I'm asking, has PBA ever supported any of the repairs of the jail?
Didn't PBA pay for the big sewer system? Yeah.
That was FPL.
Well, it was front funded.
Yeah, right. That was then reimbursed, right?
Yeah.
And we're out of TIF, correct?
No, there's still some TIP projects going, right, Stacy?
Yeah, there's TIP projects going, but the money is assigned to the
Assigned to the
project.
project, yeah.
There's no excess
Right.
TIP money that.
Because this can't be a TIP project. You can't get it refunded.
Not at this point, no.
Yeah.
So does that beg the question, can PBA funds support the jail, since it's not a PBA building?
I think, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Use this for the benefit of the county.
yeah. I
PBA
think,
needs to take care of the buildings that were pledged against the bonds
Okay.
and make sure those produce the income to make bond payments. So you're talking both parking garages in Lincoln and investors.
in the crowd.
Kraus wasn't part of the bond issue at the time.
So it's,
I mean, it should make money, but it was never pledged as collateral for those bonds. Right, Investors Capital, Lincoln, and both parking garages.
And the bonds expire
2023.
is there an opportunity for, extra bonding capacity, given you have unpledged assets?
I don't see why not. I mean, that's kind of what we were looking at, for the storage building.
Which, as it relates to this particular item, I think that's,
Timing.
yeah, that's gonna be too long of a process. I mean, we're gonna need to get on this quicker than we could, if we went through a.
Yeah, I think the bonding capacity is probably there.
What's the timeline for any kind of a bonding effort?
Seems like such that, I think when he says 60, I think more 90 days, but you just gotta get on it. And I don't know, we've already refinanced those bonds once, so I don't know if it's like a second refinancing and you roll it all together, or you do a separate bond issue. It'd be a lease revenue bond, it's not on the tax roll, so you would have to pledge something, so.
But either way, whether it's 60 days or 90 days,
Right.
it's outside
Right,
the 39
I
days
agree.
that we have, so.
It's a good bid that you really need to not let go. The second bidder would push you up to $879,000 should you lose this bid. So if you go back and rebid it,
And for the record, this 716,500 includes the potential cost overruns. So it could come in below that, but I think it's important to go ahead and put it on here with the maximum total that the project could cost. That way we have all of the funds dedicated.
Is there a master capital list of all needs and they're prioritized, regardless of funding? Do you have?
Not that's been done recently.
Second on his motion? I'll second it.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to recommend that the budget board transfer $358,250 from fiscal year 17-18 general fund reserve to capital improvement contingent upon PBA funding the additional $358,250 to provide for the financing of the jail HVAC replacement project. Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right. Larry?
No.
Christie?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Danny?
No.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. All right, motion passes. We will, we'll get an agenda item on for the next budget board, which will be Monday, for this. And then one of the, hopefully, somebody can have a PBA office, get it on the PBA before Monday as well, so. All right, moving on, item number 4, discussion and possible action to move $250,000 from the county clerk general fund budget to the IT general fund budget and move the full Tyler Munis expense to the IT general fund budget.
This was an item I requested on there just as cleanup. It didn't make sense how everything kind of came down, that we're funding Tyler out of general fund dollars, but in 2 separate budgets. So this would just be taking the $250 from the clerk's budget and move it over to IT along with the expense. The outcome then would have the whole Tyler contract under IT and funded in the same budget. And we're funding it out of general, and it's just sitting in 2 places, so it just didn't make sense.
I don't think it's 250, wouldn't it? 486 and change the total.
Half is 249 something.
250 that they put in our budget.
Right.
Yeah, it's 249 and change on each side.
It wasn't a full 500,000 though, because we got rid of 4 modules or something like that.
So I make a motion to move the $250 from the county clerk's general fund budget to the IT general fund budget and move the Tyler expense, the full Tyler expense of that contract under the IT budget.
Second.
All right, we've got a motion and a second to move $250,000 from the county clerk's general fund to the IT general fund budget, and also move the expense that goes along with that to the IT department. Larry?
Yes.
Yes.
Christie?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Rick?
Yeah.
Scooter?
Yep.
Amy? And I'm a yes. All right, item number 5, any new business? Any citizens want to be heard? Board comments, Mr. Stein?
None. Happy
Christie?
4th of July.
I was saying, happy 4th.
Steve?
No, thanks.
Danny? Rick?
Happy 4th.
Scooter?
Just like to thank everyone for having us work on Monday.
I took off.
Amy? Nothing.
That's the hard part.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Got a motion, is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.